We've all seen a few of these in our time.
Brilliant from Ricardo Quaresma.
There's Pogba.
Cisse has gone for it. Oh, he scored!
So we're going to look at passing and striking the ball today with the outside of our foot. So let's get going. We're often taught to pass the ball with the instep of our foot, but sometimes your only option might be to use the outside. This can also be used to deceive your opponents. One player that's exceptionally good at this, and someone you might want to go and watch, is Luka Modric. So, like I've said, using the outside of the foot can be a very effective skill. If you've got an opponent closing you down and you can't get back onto your stronger foot, that's when you might want to use the outside of your foot to split open them defences and make a through ball. This is how it's done. So the first thing we need to think about is our standing foot. If we're using our instep, we're probably planting it about 5 or 6 inches away from the ball, like that. If we're using the outside of our foot, our standing foot needs to be a little bit further away as we're using the outside of our foot so it's coming inside a little bit more. As regards to whereabouts on the ball we're striking it and whereabouts on our foot we're using, we want to use sort of this area, the bony part of your little toe, just about there. That will create a little bit of curl and hopefully take the ball in the direction you want it to go. Depending on what we're looking for from the pass, depends on whereabouts on the ball we strike it. If we're looking for a bit of extra curl, we want to strike the ball on the outside. If we're looking for a bit more power, that's when we want to strike the ball straight through the middle. A good way of practicing this, if you haven't got a teammate to work with, is to give yourself a target. Keep practicing this from different angles and different distances until you're regularly hitting it. Another way of utilising the outside of the foot is a stab pass. If you've got a defender coming tight and you receive the ball and you haven't got much space, one touch and a little pass with the outside of the foot into your teammate can be a very effective skill. So, that's a few different ways of passing the ball with the outside of your foot. Now let's focus on striking. I'm going to give you a few tips on how to generate power and a bit of swerve to bend the ball inside the post and pass the keeper. The technique is very similar as to when we're passing. Our standing foot still needs to be a good enough distance away from the ball to give our striking foot room, and the striking foot still needs to be angled inside slightly to add that little bit of extra curl. But this time, because we're shooting, we need to be striking through the centre of the ball, because that will give it the most power and give the ball that extra few inches. Our follow through and our strike is also vitally important in this one. Our follow through needs to make sure that we're striking it just outside of the post that we're aiming for, and then the curl from the outside of our foot will take the ball inside the post and hopefully pass the keeper. When we are looking to generate that little bit of extra power, you almost want to tense your foot, lock it in position for a nice clean connection on the ball. When we talk about tensing the foot, we'll almost want to bring the toes up and make almost a fist with our foot to generate a bit of power. Think of a boxer, so they will tense their hand to create the most power on a punch, just like we want to do, creating a lot of power with a strike. We want to tense the feet, tense the toes and make a fist to punch through the ball. Slightly looser grip on the foot might be used if the ball's coming in and you want to hit it first time, add a little bit of loft and bend it over the keeper. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Like I've said, this isn't an easy skill to master. So once you've watched this video, make sure you go away and keep practicing. Soon enough, you'll be playing the ball around like Modric and scoring goals like Pogba.